Good morning. This is Sean Nettleton, Beck's Hybrid, Southern Illinois field agronomist. Standing in a wheat field this morning in southeast Illinois. Just wanted to do some scouting this week after the rains over the weekend. I'm here. I've got a soil probe. I've got tissue sample bags. What I intend to do is take a look at some of this wheat and start collecting a soil sample and a tissue sample from a few different spots. Right now, the wheat that I'm looking at is pushing Feek 7, or actually is Feek 7. So what that means is that we have two nodes visible above the ground. And so node 1, node 2, all the way up here. So in this wheat, the wheat heads are about 6 to 7, maybe 8 inches above the ground and climbing as this stem develops. And so what we would expect, I know we got cool this weekend, but what we'd expect in the next, say, 7 to 10 days is we're going to see flag leaf emergence. And so trying to be a little bit proactive, get an idea of what's going on with these plants. Obviously, we've had some rain. We've got some yellower areas out here in some of these fields. The idea would be to get an idea of what's going on in these plants fertility-wise, and maybe as we look to make a flag leaf application of a fungicide, we would look to maybe add in some foliar products if we deem that those to be necessary. So obviously with some of the yellower areas, I attribute that a lot to rain. We've had a fair amount of rain, and obviously if you're in Southern Illinois, more rain in the forecast towards the end of this week. And so some of that may be limited root growth and not getting into that nitrogen. There's a good chance some of that's sulfur. And so what I'm seeing in Southern Illinois is that sulfur is an absolute necessity. And so I made a recommendation this morning to apply some sulfur to some wheat. So things we need to think about. Wheat throughout Southern Illinois for sure is Feek 5 in most cases, pushing all the way, like I said, up to Feek 7. The time to apply nitrogen is now. And so if you don't have nitrogen, maybe your second shot of nitrogen on this wheat crop, it's a pretty good idea. We may need to be getting on the phone and calling in some airplanes and start getting scheduled to get those acres applied, because we're at the stage of growth now where rapid uptake of nitrogen is beginning. It's time to make some applications. It's time to get that nitrogen on and get this wheat, get the nitrogen on it that it needs. Other things to consider at this stage. So I talked about nitrogen. It's time to get that on if you haven't already. We've talked a little bit about sulfur, and that's a little bit of why I'm tissue sampling this crop. I want to have an idea of where we are. This wheat had nitrogen. It had sulfur applied. All of its nitrogen's on. We still have that little bit of an off green color. And so we're going to go out there. We're going to soil sample. We're going to tissue sample. We're going to see what's going on in these plants. And so that's a big one. Obviously, if you haven't made your herbicide application, you've got to use Harmony, or one of those Harmony or generic type Harmony product. We're limited to flag leaf. And so in the next 7 to 10 days, you're going to need to make those applications, or we're going to have to scrap that application for this year. If you are planning, obviously, to use a 2,4-D type product, that's pretty much off the table now as we've achieved the joint stage. And so we don't want to make any applications such as that. Fungicides, like I mentioned, if you're going to a 2-pass fungicide program, obviously flag leaf is right around the corner, so we're going to want to get those applications made. Start planning for those applications in the next 7 to 10 days. If you're planning for that heading application of like a Caramba or a Prosaro, those types of fungicides, we've got a little bit of time left. I had a call this morning about cold temperatures, and so here in Southern Illinois last night it got into the low 30s. We can send a link. We can put a link in the video to some of our white papers on cold temperatures in the spring. But basically on the growth stage that we're at, Feek 6, Feek 7, pretty commonly, we should be able to handle temperatures down to 24, 25 degrees. What I saw last night, we got to the low 30s. There was a little bit of frost, but that shouldn't do anything to affect this wheat crop at the stage of growth that we're in. Overall, if you've decided to keep wheat at this stage, overall, it really looks fairly good. It's just a matter of, let's get some tissue samples, let's get some soil samples, let's get an idea of where this crop is, and if there's something that we can do to better or improve this crop at this stage, let's get those applications done. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or your Beck's Hybrids dealer or seed advisor. We'd be happy to take a look and provide any feedback that we can. Thanks. Have a great day.